Hello, welcome to Mr. Morton Talks. I cannot express to you guys how excited I am about this week's video. This is something that it impacts everybody, no matter what age, no matter what you do. Self-awareness is something you gotta do. Man, I just made up that rhyme. Anyway, it is part of every aspect of our lives. So there was this phrase when I was young, this hip phrase or rad term you could say, that was, you better recognize, and the meaning of it was, you better self-aware, you better check yourself. There was all sorts of ways it could be said, but what that person is telling you is, hey, what you're doing might not be the best way. You might need to turn around and start going a different direction. So self-awareness, recognizing, check yourself, or even the term that we hear a lot right now is mindfulness, being more mindful. That helps you be aware of your surroundings so that you can make a choice in the direction you're going to go. Has this ever happened to you? Man, you were right, guys. That was one of the best salads I've ever had. Yeah. Oh, what's that? Oh, I got, here. Oh. There, I got it. Thanks. Or something like this. Man, I love this song. I love it. Huh? What? Oh, this? Oh, this. That one? Oh, thanks. Oh, so much better. Having food in your teeth or playing really out of tune and not realizing either of them can be really embarrassing. So we're thankful when people do point that out to us. But all joking aside, what happens when you start having emotions inside and you can't recognize what's going on? That happens to us all the time. This is where the skill of recognizing our emotions or self-awareness comes into play. It can be hard to identify emotions in ourselves and in others. Let's focus on others first. In others, we rely on what their face looks like, what their body language is. What are the words that they're saying? How are they saying them? What are their actions? All of that helps us figure how people are feeling. I'm getting closer to the camera. That means this is important. When was the last time you asked yourself how you felt? I know what you're thinking. It's this. Why? I mean, I'm me. That's weird. I know how I feel. I'm in me. It's me. I know it. I don't have to ask myself. And I agree. It seems like that's the way it should work, but it really doesn't. I'd say, this is totally just me, not statistics, but I'd say 80 to 90% of the time, it does work like that and everything operates fine. But there's those 10 to 20% and sometimes more where we're just in a mood that we don't quite understand and things just don't go good for ourselves or anyone around us. My problem when I start feeling that way is I don't want to take the time to think about me, my actions, my feelings. No way. I just want to be mad and frustrated and tell you what someone did and all the wrong things they did. Does that sound familiar? But to actually help the situation would be to think about our feelings and recognize. You better recognize. So how do we recognize our emotions? That's not an easy thing to do. Recognizing emotion is paying attention to emotional cues in ourselves to realize how we feel. You can ask yourself, how pleasant am I? What thoughts are going through my head? How much energy is in my body right now? How fast is my heart beating? What's my breathing like? Do I feel warm, cold, relaxed, or tense? You better recognize. So in closing, this is not an easy thing. To try to recognize, check yourself, or just be more self-aware is going to be difficult. So the thing that's probably hardest for me is a step after that. I can usually recognize, hey, I'm not treating people nice. I have a bad attitude. I'm being negative and it's not getting any better because I recognize it, but then I don't do anything about it. There's a part that comes after recognizing that is really important. You better check yourself. We ain't ready for that. All we're talking about is self-awareness and recognizing. So here are my 2 takeaways for self-awareness and recognizing. 1, be selfish. Think about yourself for 2 to 5 seconds. It doesn't take long. As soon as you recognize and have the awareness that you're being rude or negative or just not feeling quite right and don't want to be around these people or you're about to do something bad, boom, 2 seconds. Realize that. And then the second thing is act. Do something that's going to help. You have made yourself aware and you recognize that something's going on. You got to act. Do so, like put your head down for a few seconds. Walk into a different room. I don't know what it is. Just tell the person, hey, I need to go over here, get a drink real quick. Just need to leave. You aren't quite sure. You haven't understood the emotion. You haven't labeled it. You haven't gone down these other steps that our other videos are going to go into. But once you've recognized, take those 2 to 5 seconds and then act. Do something that's going to help you feel better. So in closing,